everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is one of the most widely followed stock market indexes in the world. It tracks approximately 500 of the largest publicly traded companies in the US. Instead of looking at the performance of a single company, the S&P 500 gives investors a broader view of how large US businesses are performing. Because it includes companies from many different industries, it is often used as a measure of the overall health of the US stock market. The S&P 500 includes many of the world's most recognizable companies, such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, and Alphabet. These companies come from a variety of industries including technology, healthcare, finance, consumer goods, and energy. By including companies from multiple sectors, the index provides a diversified representation of the US economy, rather than focusing on a single industry. The S&P 500 is important because it represents a large portion of the US stock market. Investors, analysts, and financial institutions use it as a benchmark to measure investment performance. For example, if your investment portfolio grows by 8% a year, while the S&P 500 grows by 12%, it means the overall market performed better than your portfolio. This is why many investors use the S&P 500 as a standard for comparison. One common misconception is that investors can directly buy the S&P 500. In reality, the S&P 500 is simply an index, which means it is a list of companies, rather than an actual investment product. However, investors can gain exposure to the index through S&P 500 index funds and ETFs. These funds are designed to hold the same companies that make up the index, allowing investors to participate in its performance through a single investment. One reason the S&P 500 is so popular among investors is its long-term performance. Historically, it has delivered an annual average return of around 10% before inflation. While the market experiences ups and downs from year to year, the long-term trend has generally been upward. This demonstrates the power of staying invested and allowing your investments to grow over time. However, it is important to remember that past performance does not guarantee future results. To summarize, the S&P 500 tracks approximately 500 of the largest publicly traded companies in the US. It provides broad exposure to multiple industries, serves as a benchmark for market performance, and can be accessed through index funds and ETFs. Because of its diversification and long-term growth history, the S&P 500 has become one of the most popular investment choices for long-term investments around the world.